Hey all, welcome to Homeschool, and we are with the chapter electricity, and we also have discussed two important basic concepts of electricity. One is about the electric current I, and the another concept we discussed was about the most important concept, that is potential difference V, right? And many more things in detailed way we have discussed. So here I am with one of the most important law of electricity, that is Ohm's law. So I have given a hint in a previous class itself what may be this Ohm's law, right? Ohm's law is nothing but a relationship. It is telling you a relationship between the electric current I and the potential difference V. Clear? So what may be the relationship between this electric current I and potential difference V? See, let me draw a circuit here. Say this is our battery, okay, positive terminal, negative terminal, okay, and this is our switch. So here we have a device. Let me take a bulb, and this is a simple circuit, right? And there is a potential difference across the ends of this wire. This is one end of a wire, and this is another end of a wire. Okay, definitely there is a potential difference across the ends of a wire. Who sets the potential difference? Battery sets the potential difference. Battery is the responsible for the potential difference or voltage, right? And this voltage pushes the electron to pass in a wire continuously, right? Only then the electric current will pass. Fine. And you have a current, and current flow is exactly opposite to the direction of flow of electrons, right? This is a conventional current. We have studied all this. So our current is flowing. So what may be the relationship between this voltage and this current high? And logically speaking, with our common sense, we can say that more the push for the electrons, more nicely the electrons actually flow in a circuit. Okay, in a faster way the electrons can flow in a circuit. Say if the electrons are moving very fastly in a circuit, we say more current, right? So the amount of current that is flowing in a circuit depends on the voltage. How much is the push that you are giving for the flow of electrons, for an easy flow of electrons, right? So definitely the current I and potential difference V is directly proportional, right? Directly proportional in the sense what? The more the voltage I give for this particular circuit, more will be the current flown in a circuit. Yes or no? So that is what we mean by Ohm's law. Okay. Say for the better understanding, one more analogy I am trying to give here, one more comparison. Okay. Say imagine this is a beaker of water. I have taken more water. More water in a beaker in the sense more pressure. Okay. Let me keep another beaker with water. Okay. With water. Yeah. Full amount of water. How much ever water is there in this beaker, that much water is there in this beaker also. So now I will make a connection between these two. So definitely amount of water will pass from this beaker to this beaker because there is a slight height difference. Yes or no? Slight height difference is there. So you have a chance of water getting passed from this beaker to this beaker. Okay, now you imagine another situation. Okay, so I am taking a big beaker where I have lots of water. Okay, and I am taking another beaker with lot of height difference. So I don't have much water here. Okay, so I will connect both the beakers with a pipe. This is how I made a connection. See now, here height difference is very much high. Height difference is very much high, right? And even the pressure difference, okay? Even the pressure and height difference is very much high. Okay, in that case, what happens? Passage of water is also very fast. Passage of water is fast. Yes or no? More fastly the water can get passed from this beaker to this beaker, this end to this end, compared to this situation. Here definitely you will observe water passage because little of height difference is there. Okay, but the amount of water that is passing in this situation is less compared to this situation, because here you have more height difference, you know, so more and more water can be passed from this end to this end. Here very less height difference, very less pressure difference, so water passes but little of water only will be passed from this end to this end. See now how I connect this to Ohm's law. Okay, imagine fastness of water passage. Fastness of water passage. I will compare with electron flow, that is current. Okay, I am comparing. Imagine this particular thing I will compare with flow of electrons, that is I. Okay. And now difference in the height is there, no, in case of water analogy, difference in height or pressure. I will compare with potential. Potential difference is what? Difference in that electric pressure, right? See now, definitely with this example, in this example, I can say if you can create more difference in height, if you can create more difference in height, you know, more water can be passed. Yes or no? More water passes from one end to another end. From one end to another end. So what I can write here, you know, more the difference in height, more the water passes from one end to another end. So I can say difference in height, okay, is directly proportional to flow of water, right? So the more the difference in height I create, more fastly and more water can get passed from one end to another end. This is what the meaning of difference in height is directly proportional to flow of water. So now what I have done, fastness of water, passage of water, I compared with I consider that as I is nothing but flow of electrons, no, right? So I, and difference in height, difference in electric pressure is voltage. So that factor I compared to the difference in height with this particular example. So we have just now observed flow of water is directly proportional to the difference in height. So similarly here, compare the concepts here, I can write that voltage is directly proportional to I, right? Definitely more the push you give for the electrons to flow, more fastly the electron flows and more current would be created, right? So this is what we actually mean by Ohm's law. Okay, so the potential difference that is there across the ends of a metallic wire is directly proportional to current flowing in a circuit. Very simple. Okay, so now let us try to write the definition of Ohm's law. Listen carefully. The potential difference V across the ends of metal wire, right? This is one end of the metal wire, this is one end of the metal wire. Between this only you would observe a potential difference, right? Is directly proportional in the sense what? If one factor increases, the other factor also increases, right? That is called directly proportional. Directly proportional to current flow, that is I, in a circuit, provided temperature remains constant. This is very important. Provided temperature remains constant. So as long as the temperature of a setup is constant, only then you can observe as potential difference increases, our current I increases. If you keep on changing the temperature, this relationship will not be valid. Okay, because temperature, if you change, there would be changes in the current flow. Okay, now our current does not only depend on voltage, it also depends on a temperature if you change it. So as long as you don't change any temperature, as long as you keep the temperature constant, then only you can say our potential difference is directly proportional to I. Okay, so this is your definition for Ohm's law. So now let us derive a mathematical formula for Ohm's law. So we already, according to our definition, we can clearly say that V is directly proportional to I. And now this is a proportionality symbol. If I have to remove a proportionality symbol, I should introduce some constant here. So V is equal to R into I. Okay, what is this R? R is nothing but proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. This symbol, if I have to remove some constant, I should introduce. So proportionality constant. This is also called as resistance. This is called resistance. Okay, very, very important. And you can also write it as V by I is equal to R. Okay. So this is one way of writing a formula. This is another way of writing a formula. So try to remember, R is what? Resistance. You know what actually the resistance is? Resistance is nothing but, I'm talking about resistance. More things about resistance we will discuss in the next video. Don't worry. Just try to understand the basic idea about a resistance. Resistance is nothing but obstruction to the flow of current. Obstruction to the flow of current. Actually, when a current flows in a metallic wire, it doesn't flow that much smoothly as we think. There would be lot of disturbances for the flow of current, guys. It may be because the nature of the wire or whatever may be the reasons. All that we will discuss in the next video. Okay, so current flow is not that much smooth. Here and there, some disturbances would be there in the circuit. So this obstruction to the flow of current, those disturbances to the flow of current is what we call resistance. Okay, say resistance, a common meaning itself is nothing but opposition, right? Say I resist you, in the sense what? I oppose you, I don't like you, you are a disturbance for me. Okay, say resistance is nothing but a disturbance. So disturbance for what? Disturbance for current flow. When a current is flowing, lots of disturbances would come in the way. So that disturbance is called with the term resistance. Okay, and here you can, with this relation, I can say that, see here, R is inversely proportional to current. Yes or no? See, from this relation I can say resistance or current is inversely proportional. Both are inversely proportional. Voltage and I are directly proportional. If this guy increases, the other one also increases. But if the resistance increases, what happens? If the disturbances are more in a circuit, the flow of current will be reduced. Yes or no? So what I can write here is, this is very, very important to remember. As resistance increases, resistance R increases, flow of current, okay, that is I decreases. This is a very, very important thing. Say if resistance is less, if the disturbances are less, then more current can flow without any disturbance easily, right? So this is what the relationship between resistance and current and voltage and current. So you have to remember these two formulas. Yes, say this one, if you can remember, if you know any two variables, the other one you can calculate easily, right? Just by rearranging, right? So this and this is very important, and try to remember this point also. Always resistance and current are inversely proportional to each other. So now we got to know what exactly is Ohm's law. But what is the proof? What is the proof for telling voltage is directly proportional to I? Right? Science is all about proofs. So let us try to verify Ohm's law. Let us try to prove Ohm's law with one activity. Clear? Here, for the verification of Ohm's law, I am taking a case 1. In a case 1, I will draw one circuit. Okay, so just observe the circuit what I am drawing here. Here I am taking just one cell here. Okay, so positive terminal, negative terminal, just one cell and a switch, closed switch. Okay, and then here I will take one ammeter. Okay, ammeter is the one that measures the current, right? So one ammeter is there, and here I will take a nichrome wire. Okay, so just 0.5 centimeter of nichrome wire I am adding here. Like instead of a bulb or some other device, I am taking what? Nichrome wire. So what is this? Nichrome wire. So what do you mean by nichrome, guys? Nichrome is nothing but alloy. It is an alloy of iron plus chromium, okay, and nickel. This is what we call nichrome wire. So it is not like a regular copper wire, okay, and it will show high resistance. I mean, current cannot easily flow through this nichrome wire because you would find lot of disturbances in this wire. Okay, so this is not like a copper wire, a smooth wire. So nichrome wire is the one I connected in the middle, right? Okay, and now here I will connect an voltmeter. Okay, so voltmeter just to measure the potential difference. Okay, so this is like my device only, just like a bulb. Instead of a device I took here. So definitely you will observe difference in the potential across this end and this end of a nichrome wire. To measure that potential difference, I took an voltmeter. Okay, so I just took one battery here, okay, or one cell, just one cell I took. Okay, the moment I on the switch, what happens? The current flows. So how is the current flowing? In this direction I have to show, right? So whenever a current flows, I can measure the current with the help of an ammeter. Imagine ammeter is showing a value 0.1 amperes. So how much is the current flowing in this circuit? 0.1 ampere when I took one cell. Okay, and the potential difference value also will be shown in a voltmeter. Imagine the potential difference value is 0.3 volts. Okay, so this is our case 1, guys. Clear? And now let me take case 2. Let me take case 2. Same setup, but I will add one more cell here, right? That means more voltage I am supplying. Okay, so how would I draw? One more cell I am taking. So this is one cell and this is another cell, right? So positive, negative. Two cells I am taking. Rest all same. Switch is there and here ammeter is placed. Okay, and then somewhere here what? Nichrome wire of the same length. Okay, I took 0.5 centimeter of or 0.5 meter of nichrome wire, right? The same nichrome wire I am taking here and I connected an voltmeter across a nichrome wire, right? So this is a voltmeter. But what is the difference here? I am taking two cells, right? Here two cells are there. Two cells in the sense more voltage I am supplying, so more current definitely would pass across the wire, right? So this is the direction of current. So how much is the current produced? Definitely more than this. Imagine the value is 0.2 amperes. Okay, more voltage also you would observe because two cells you have taken. So imagine here the value is 0.5 volts. Potential difference here I got is 0.5 volts. Okay, so this is our case 2. Now let us see case 3. Case 3. Okay, but here I am taking 3 cells. Okay, 3 cells I will take. First cell, second cell, third cell. Okay, positive, negative, and as usual the same setup, switch is there, right? And here I connect ammeter for measurement of current, and as usual here what is there? Nichrome wire is there. Nichrome wire is there, and here across this you have voltmeter, right? This is voltmeter, this is ammeter. See, every case voltmeter I connected in parallel. We discussed in a last video, right? Voltmeter always has to be connected in parallel. Ammeter should be connected in series. Okay, fine. So here 3 cells I have taken. That means I have supplied more voltage, right? So when I measure the current, here I had actually got 0.3 amperes. More current, more cells, more voltage, so more current. So voltage definitely is high. Here I have got 0.75 volts. Okay, say this is what is the proof. So as I increased the number of cells, our voltage is more. As the voltage is more, the amount of current flown in a circuit is also more, right? Now we will tabulate the values, that is we will list out all the values here. Say just I'll make 3 columns here, number of cells, right, and voltage. When I change the cells, what is the voltage? And this is a table for current, and then let us calculate V by I also. Okay, fine. So when I took one cell, right, when I took one cell, how much was the voltage? It was 0.3 volts. And how much is the current? 0.1 amperes. Okay, fine. And next, when I took 2 cells, say here you have 2 cells, and how much is the voltage we got? 0.5. As I increase the cells, volts increased, right? 0.5 volts, and here how much we have got? The current as 0.2 amperes, right? And when I took 3 cells, so can you tell me like how much is the voltage? It is 0.75 volts, right? And the current is 0.3 amperes. So now you can gradually say that as the number of cells increased, potential difference increased. As the potential difference increased, and the current that is flowing in a circuit also increased. Okay, and now let us calculate V by I, right? What is our Ohm's law? It is nothing but V is equal to IR, right? So V by I is equal to R. So V by I in the sense what, guys? We are actually calculating R. Let us calculate resistance, right? So resistance, how do you calculate? What is the V here? 0.3 divided by 0.1, right? So how much do you get? 2.5. So here 0.5 divided by 0.2, here also 2.5. So here 0.75 divided by 0.3, here also 2.5. You see our R value is constant, right? Our R value is constant, right? And this actually verifies our Ohm's law. What is our Ohm's law? From this activity we can say that potential difference is directly proportional to I. Okay, and also we can say that V by I is equal to R. R is a constant, no? See, everywhere we have got a constant value of R. And actually with this activity we can also plot a graph here. I am showing VI graph. VI graph for Ohm's law. Ohm's law. This is also important, guys. Don't forget, concentrate VI graph. See, when you know how to plot a graph. You have learned it in mathematics, right? So you usually, when you plot a graph in mathematics, you would do like this, negative values, positive values. But here we don't consider a negative values because voltage and current is always a positive values, right? So only positive graph I am showing, positive side. Okay, so x-axis, in a x-axis I will take current, in a y-axis I will take V, that is potential difference. Okay, now let us try to plot a graph. First, let me take a scale. How do I take? What is our current values? 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. No, okay, let me take the x-axis as 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, like that. Okay, and our y-axis is voltage. No, what are these values? Okay, then let me take it as 0.5, 1.0, 1.5, 2.0. This is the scale. Now let me plot a graph, right? So in the first case 0.1 amperes, right? And voltage is 0.3, somewhere here. Here I'll get a point, right? And in the second case, when the current is 0.2, potential difference is 0.5. Potential difference is 0.5. So 0.5, current is 0.2. So here I'll be getting a point. And 0.3 and potential difference is 0.75, right? So somewhere here I'll get a point. If I join all these points, right? So what do I get? How do I join? I can join it from origin. I get a straight line. Yes or no? I get a straight line. This is what VI graph. So as you increase the potential difference, our current also increases. So this is a straight line, guys. Okay, and actually from graph we can calculate resistance, right? We can calculate resistance. So slope of a graph gives you resistance, gives the value of resistance, right? Say I can always say for example, how do I calculate resistance? How do you calculate slope of a graph, guys? It is y by x, y-axis by x. So in case of y, any value you take. So what will be the value I would be taking in case of y? Okay, let me take this value 0.75. So corresponding to that, what is x value? 0.3, right? So how much do I get? 2.5, which is nothing but the value for resistance, right? So y is nothing but what? Voltage. X is nothing but what? I. So V by I is what? Resistance. So when you calculate slope from a graph, you get the value for resistance. So problems can be asked to calculate a resistance value from a graph also, right? So you must know how to plot a graph and how you can calculate a resistance from a graph also. So both idea you should have. Okay, so we have a problem in our NCERT book. Once we solve that problem, all your doubts will get cleared, like if the question is asked based on a graph, right? So we will solve the questions little later. Just try to understand and analyze the concept. So this is how we can verify the Ohm's law. And VI graph, voltage versus I graph, is also very important, and you get a straight line. Okay, and you know, from the slope of this you can calculate the resistance. So this is all about verification of Ohm's law. And now we will go for some varieties of numericals on Ohm's law. Different models I'll show you. Look at the first problem. How much current will an electric bulb drawn from 220 volts voltage of source if the resistance of a bulb filament is 1200 ohms? Remember, guys, we all know the formula V by I is equal to R, right? And you know, R's unit of resistance is ohms. This is how we indicate. We call it as ohms. Okay, so this is ohms symbol, right? Fine, unit of resistance. Okay, so what is given? First you write a given information here. So electric bulb is drawing how much current, right? So I is what we have to calculate, but what is given? Voltage is given, that is 220 volts, and resistance is given. The moment you see ohms, you know this is the value of resistance. So R is equal to 1200 ohms. So what is our formula? V by I is equal to R, right? So what they are asking? They are asking current. So just rearrange a formula. I can write V by R is equal to I. So what is V value? V value is 220 divided by R value is 1200. Okay, is equal to I. So how do you get? So 22 divided by 120. So you would get 0.18. Yes or no? So I is equal to 0.18 amperes. Don't forget to mention the units. Unit of electric current is amperes, right? So this is what you have to do a problem. Very simple problem actually. You don't have nothing. Everything is given. Just I they are asking. Okay, fine. And coming to the next problem, here you have to be very, very careful. See, the potential difference between the terminals of electric heater is 60 volts. Some potential difference is given, that is V is equal to 60 volts. Okay. When it draws 4 amperes from a source, amperes, that means I, current, some current is given 4 amperes. Okay. But see the question, what current will the heater draw if the potential difference is increased to 120 volts? Okay, see what the question is. When you give a power supply of 60 volts, you had got the current 4 amperes. But when you are giving a power supply of 120 volts, how much is the current you are getting? Understood the question? When you have given a voltage of 60 volts, you got this much current. But when you increase the voltage to this much, 120 volts, how much is the current you get? Right? That's what they are asking. Say here, okay, so this is the question, right? This is our question actually. What current will be the heater draw? So some I is what they are asking. What is given? If the potential difference is increased to 120 volts, potential difference is there 120 volts. Okay. And now, what is the relationship between V and I, guys? We know it's from Ohm's law. It's from Ohm's law. We can say V by I is equal to R. Right? So, if you want to calculate I, our formula is V by R. Okay, so here V value is given. How much is the V value? 120. But do you have R value? No, right? You don't have R value. You want a value for resistance. Okay, so to get a value for resistance, I can use this information here. Yes or no? This information, see, this is the information they have given. I am using this information here. Here some voltage is given, current is given. So I can always calculate R. So whatever R value I calculate from this information, I will use it for my exact question. Okay, what is our formula? V by I is equal to R. So what is the voltage given? This voltage I should take. I should take 60 divided by I is what? 4. Right? So what is the R value I will get? R is equal to 15 ohms I will get. Right? This R value I am using it here. Okay. So now what is the R value? 15. Right? So now how much is the current? 120 divided by 15 is 8 amperes. So this is my final answer. Okay. So understood the question very, very carefully, guys. Okay. See here. When the voltage was this much, I got 4 amperes was the current. But when I increase the voltage 120 volts, how much is the current I get? Actually, logically you can tell the answer, right? See, voltage is exactly increased to double, right? And current also will be increased to double, because according to Ohm's law, V is directly proportional to I. If V has increased 2 times, current also will increase 2 times, no? See, voltage has increased from 60 to 120. That means 2 times voltage is increased. Then current also will increase 2 times. 2 times of 4 is what? 8. So 8 amperes, directly you can tell the answer. But you have to calculate, no? The method of calculation is important. That's the reason. See, here we have to calculate this question. You see, voltage is there, R we don't know. So R to calculate, we are using this information, whatever information as given in first 2 lines. Okay, so with that information calculated R, that R we have used for our main question, and we got the answer 8 amperes. So how much is the resistance? 15 amperes. How much is the current? 8 amperes. Okay, so you have to be very careful in answering such questions. Fine. So the next question. When 12-volt battery is connected to a resistor. Okay, say what do you mean by resistor? Sometimes we use resistors in a circuit to control the current. Okay, say when there is no disturbance, when a current is flowing very fastly in a circuit will get damaged sometimes. Devices will get damaged. So in a circuit, we create resistance with the help of devices called resistors. All this we will discuss in the next class, don't worry. Okay, resistors is the device that is used in a circuit to create resistance. Clear? Fine. When 12-volt battery is connected to a resistor, there is a current of 2.5 milliamperes. Find resistance of a resistor. Okay, so what is given here? Voltage is given, that is 12 volts. And current is given, right? So the moment you see the units, you should make it out. So V means volts. So this is voltage. Milliamperes, that means current is given, that is I is equal to 2.5 milliamperes. You convert this into amperes. Always convert to a standard unit, then calculate. Okay. So milliamperes means, milli means what? 2.5 into milli means 10 to the power of minus 3 amperes. Okay. So this is your I. So R they are asking, guys. R they are asking. So what is our formula? V by I is equal to R. Right. So what is V? 12 divided by what is I? It is 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Right. So 12 divided by 2.5, how much do you get actually? You would get 4.8, right? 12 divided by 2.5. If you do, you get 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 3. From a denominator, if I move it to numerator, it will be 10 to the power of 3 ohms. Calculated R. R's unit is ohms, right? So what is your R here? 4.88. 10 to the power of 3 can also be written as kilo. Kilo means what? 1000, right? That is 10 to the power of 3. So I can write 4.8 kilo ohm is the answer. Or you can leave your answer as 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 3 ohms. This 10 to the power of minus 3 only, I am writing it as kilo, K. Yeah. So this is another model. This is one model. This is direct model. Okay. Now I will show a question based on a graph. Look at this question. This is actually your NCERT exercise question, right? NCERT exercise question it is. Values of I are given, values of V are given. You have to plot a graph of V versus I. And also you should calculate resistance R of a resistor. Clear? Plotting a graph. I already told you how to plot a graph looking at the values. You know this, right? So let us try to plot a graph here. So this is our x-axis. In the x-axis, I will take current, and in the y-axis, we will take voltage. Okay. So how do you take a scale in the x-axis? See the I values 0.5, 1, 2.0, 3, 4, right? So let me take it as 0.5, right? 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5 and 4.0. Okay, so this is how I take my x-axis. And how do you take a value for the y-axis? Y-axis is voltage. See the values 1.6, 3.4, 6.7, 10.2 and 13.2, right? So let me take a scale of 2. Okay, so here 2.0, okay, and then 4.0, 6.0, 8.0, 10.0, okay, and then 12.0 and 14.0, something like this. So this is y-axis, this is x-axis. Now let us plot a graph. Okay, so what is our I? 0.5. So when I is 0.5, what is B? 1.6, right? So somewhere here you get a point. And now the second, when I is 1.0, V is 3.4, right? So somewhere here. So this is our first point. So somewhere here we get our third point, right? We get our third point. And then next, when the I is 2.0, when the I is 2.0, voltage is 6.7. So somewhere here, right? Somewhere here we get a third point. Then 3.0, for 3.0, 10.2, right? So somewhere here we get a fourth point. Now the fifth point, when the I is 4, and what is our V value? 13.2, right? So somewhere here we get the fifth point, right? And now join all the points. In all the points you would get a straight line, right? This is how you have to plot a graph. So now plotting a graph is over. Now you have to calculate resistance, that is R is equal to V by I. Okay, so any value of V you take, say let me take I take the last value, right? So here what I can calculate, V is 13.2 divided by corresponding to 13.2, what is the I value? 4, right? So 13.2 divided by 4, how much you get? You get 3.33 ohms. So this is your R value. Clear, everybody? So this is how you have to calculate the resistance. Resistance is nothing but slope, right? Slope of a graph, that is y by x. So slope, here slope is nothing but y divided by x. Y is what? V. X is what? I. So any values you take, either you can take this value of V and this value of I, or you can consider these two values, or you can consider these two, anything you can consider. I have considered this as a V value and this as a I value. So I got the resistance 3.33 ohms. Clear? So this is all about calculating resistance from the values of graph. Okay, very simple. And now this is actually your takeaway question, that is homework, and this question is exactly similar to the second question that I solved. Just read the question. The current passing through a resistor in the circuit is 0.01 amperes when the voltage across the same resistor is 5. That means when voltage is 5 volts, the current passed was 0.01 amperes. This was the given information. But see the question, what current passes? Current is what they are asking. When the voltage across is, when the voltage is 7.5 volts. And here R is also question mark. If you want to calculate I, so how do you calculate? I by V is equal to R. You should know voltage as well as resistance. Only then you can calculate I, right? Whereas you don't know the R value. So use this information to calculate R value. So once you calculate R value using this information, use it here in a formula, you get your final answer, right? So think carefully, calculate and post the answer in a comment box. Let me check how many of you guys are giving me a correct answer, right? So these are various model of questions on Ohm's law. Yet to do a challenging questions at the end of the chapter. Keep waiting for the challenging questions. And with this, I complete this topic. So in my next video, let us speak everything about the resistance, resistors, okay, and what factors the resistance is depending on everything. Till then, take care. Subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much.